Hello. Why am I blurry? I don't know. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the stream. This is stream number 27. Wow, have I ever been this consistent with something in my life? Probably not. Yeah, welcome back. If you don't know me, my name's James. I'm a product designer. I design products, electronic devices, musical devices, those kinds of things. And wow, is this focus struggling? What is happening? Yeah, so in these streams, I've been working on a hardware drum machine, which I'm doing in SolidWorks, and you can see it here. This is where we're at so far. In the last stream, I did something a little bit different. I assembled a prototype, which is sitting on my table over there, which is like a laser cut prototype that we're going to use for testing different types of user experiences, buttons, those kinds of things. So if you want to check that out, you can look back at the last stream on yeah, wherever you're watching, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Yeah, but this stream I'm getting back into CAD. So that one is sort of like an intermediate prototype. This is something more like the final design, which is going to evolve as we go with the different prototypes and stuff. And there's been a few discussions. One of them happened on stream as well when I had the other two guys from the project, or another two of the guys from the project. We talked about some changes that we want to make on this design. So I'm going to start implementing those since I've finished with the prototype. The things I have on my list here are a new display. So this one has a 16 by 9 display, and we want to do something that's wider and less short. So we're looking at one that's 8 by 3 aspect ratio. So that's something I have on here. New SOM. If you don't know what a SOM is, that's a system on module. So Raspberry Pi, for example, is a SOM, a system on module. This little chip here is called a SoC. Yeah, maybe SOM isn't the right way to say it, rather SOM. An SoC is a system on chip, so that's what this is. And the system on chip sits on a module, which is a system on module. So it's basically a single board computer. Yeah, initially we were planning that this design would be kind of the intermediate prototype, and we would use a Raspberry Pi just to make things a bit simpler, because we already have some and they're easy to work with. But yeah, we decided to go for a more lo-fi prototype, which I'll quickly grab it so you can see. It is this thing, basically just a big grid of holes that we can put buttons into. Something like, God, where did I put it? Wait a second. Something like this. This is a key switch tester. So you have all different types of key switches. You can easily press them, and then on the back you have the contacts where you can wire them. So we're basically going to treat it something like this, where yeah, you can put different switches in different places, different knobs, and we'll have a display in the middle and all that good stuff. So yeah, that'll be the intermediate prototype, and then this one will be heading more in the direction of the final design. So I'm going to make a few little changes here. So changing the SOM to be something more like the final SOM. And at the moment, hey, thanks for the follow. El Gonzo on the road, I think it was. Cheers. Thanks for joining the stream and checking it out. I'm glad to have you here, and thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Let me know if you got any questions or comments. So yeah, new SOM. Getting rid of the Raspberry Pi, and we're probably going to replace it with a Jetson Nano, which is something that fits in a a SODIMM slot, Jetson Nano. Yeah, this is the dev kit, but the actual SOM itself looks something like, oh my god, where is it? Looks something like this. It's it looks like a RAM stick basically, and it slots into a RAM slot, and with these little screws. So that means I need to get rid of this, put a RAM slot on here, and all that good stuff. The next thing, and the only other thing I have on my little list here is a M.2 slot. So for the memory on the device, we want to have a bunch of samples and stuff on there, and the memory, we want it to be a decent amount of memory, and we also want it to be upgradable. So rather than just saying, okay, let's get the Jetson Nano with like 16 gigabytes of memory, or let's put an SD card slot on there or something, we just thought, let's do it right, let's do it proper, let's put an M.2 slot on there and actually put, computer memory on there. So that's the next thing I want to do. So the display, I think I'll leave till last. I think the first thing I'll do is try to get a SODIMM slot to put the Jetson Nano on, and a M.2 slot to put some memory on, and we're going to put it on the back of the device. Okay, very long intro, and very big apology to Elk Wrath for not saying hey before, because you're, as usual, the first person to comment and the first person to join the stream, which is much appreciated. And you did comment earlier saying yo, and I missed it, even though that's my, you're my number one hype man. You get me excited every time you join the stream. So thank you very much, Elk, and shout out anyone who wants to see some cool music production. Go and check him out on YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff. El Gonzal on the road. Hi. That's a mouthful of a name, but yeah, thanks for joining. Good to have you here, man. Thanks for getting in the chat. It's cool to talk to you. Lamau Broham, no need to worry about that. Well, credit where credit's due. Okay, so something I'm thinking about with this is that, Gonzalo? Is that how I say it? I'm from Chile. Am I pronouncing that right? Gonzalo? I hope so. Apologies if I'm not. But I live in Germany. Yeah, I know that mistake with the Z and the Y being swapped around on the German keyboard. I type that all the time. Because I also live in Germany. I'm Australian living in Germany, so cool. Nice to meet another fellow expat. Okay, so because I'm going to make such significant changes to the model, I think this is a point where I'm going to say I'm going to make a new version of the whole assembly. And I'm learning SolidWorks. Oh, nice. Let me know if you have any questions about what I'm doing, because it might be a bit fast, maybe, but I guess, yeah, hopefully it's still interesting. Oh, and learning German and English. Well, you got your hands full. Good to hear. Okay, so this is kind of my method of versioning in SolidWorks. So what I do is, can I show this folder? I think so, yes. So I have my kind of project folder here. There's more professional ways to do this, like if you have the PDM server or something, which is SolidWorks' like versioning system, I think SolidWorks Connected even has a versioning system as well, but I still haven't figured out how to do that, so I'm a bit old school with this. Generally, I make a whole new version. So this folder has all my main CAD parts and assemblies and drawings and everything inside it. It's called 0.1 LDM. LDM stands for Live Drum Machine. So I want to make a new version of my CAD. So the first thing I do is I go 0.2 LDM. And the reason why I put the version at the beginning is so that they sort, you know. And actually I don't like that this is sorting separately. I'm going to put a folder here called prototype. So, and I'm going to put that in there. So empty folder, full folder. I want to basically make a duplicate of all of this assembly, all of this sketch, and everything in this assembly, so that I can archive this version in case I need to fall back to it, because I'm going to make significant changes. I'm going to get rid of a whole bunch of parts. I'm going to get rid of this cutout in the PCB. I'm going to completely change the display and everything that's linked to the display, like the size of the display hole, the display protector, and all of those things. And I'm not even sure if we actually need a display protector, because I'm looking at using a touch display, which potentially means we don't need a display protector. So yeah. So it's going to be a lot of changes. That's why I'm doing this. So what I normally do is I go to, hopefully this works the same in SolidWorks Connected, Pack and Go. Pack and Go sort of collects everything and packages it together with a new folder location. So it's for, yeah, if you want to like put all your parts onto a different hard drive or something, you can do it like this, because all of the parts reference locations in folders. So yeah, you can't just drag things into new folders because references will get broken, all that fun stuff. So you do Pack and Go. Do I want nested view or flat view? I want flat view. Nested view will show you like duplicates of everything. So you can see the SK, it's like my skeleton model that's inserted into every part. You're going to see a bunch of duplicates of it. I don't want to see duplicates of that, so I put it into flat view. Then I don't want to include any of my library components because I don't want to duplicate them. So I'm just going to untick everything and I'm going to sort by title. That way I can see all of the parts here that have 0.1 LDM, and I'm going to select all of those. Then it should be that every other part in here is like a library component. So something from my component library folder, which it looks like it is. So then what I can do is I want to change the new file names of the duplicated parts. So I will choose select and replace. And then search for 0.1, replace with text 0.2, replace all. Okay, I don't know why it gave me that warning, but sure. So I can see there, these are what the new file names are going to be. And if I check this folder, let me just check I got all the files. So there's 14 files in this folder, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And that's okay because I have this test part, which is nothing. I don't actually need that. So 13 is good. Then I just need to choose where it's going to go, and I'm just going to hide my screen just in case. I'm always nervous about opening up the file browser. Yeah, so I just choose my new folder here, the 0.2 LDM, and that's where I'm going to put it. Flatten to a single folder. I think all of that is good. Yeah, okay, so then I just press save. Sorry, this isn't going to be, like, the whole thing isn't going to be like a tutorial. I just thought for this section, because I'm showing something new and it's about my process in SolidWorks, I just thought it'd be interesting to run through it. So now you can see 0.1 has all the 0.1 files and 0.2 has all the 0.2 files. So I've duplicated everything into this folder with new part names, and then I can close this. And close this. I'm also just going to hide my screen here just in case any confidential projects show up, which they didn't, so that's good. I'm just going to open up the version 2 and open up the version 2 assembly. Everything will hopefully load correctly. Can rebuild. Yeah, so now I'm working on a whole new version. So I can make a bunch of drastic changes and it's not going to mess anything up on the version 1 in case I need to bail out and go back to that one. So yeah, I can grab this Raspberry Pi and say sayonara. Arrivederci. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'll need to delete and rename and get rid of these holes and everything. So you're here for the ride. Yeah, that's enough tutorial for now. I'm just going to like start chipping away at this, and you guys can, if you feel like it, let me know a little bit more what's going on with you guys, or ask some questions, or I don't know. You got any topics to talk about? Gonzalo? Maybe you got some insights for me about Germany? I don't know. How long have you been in Germany for? Okay, get rid of that. And it's a shame because I was so proud of this solution I came up with here, but it is a bit messy. But it was satisfying to come up with. So PCB 3 is going to be completely gone, which is nice. One less PCB. And then I can actually delete that from here. PCB 3. But it's going to tell me that it's open in SolidWorks, so I can't do that now. I'll have to do it after the stream. Um, get rid of these super long 20mm standoffs, which is pretty cool, because they were actually something that was dictating the size of the device. So I might even be able to make it a bit slimmer now. What other 3D software do I use? I only use SolidWorks for CAD. I have tried a few others before. Like, I learned SolidWorks at university, and we also learned PTC Creo, which I wasn't a fan of, to be honest. I know that it's like a fairly expensive software, but one of my friends made a joke that it was like Aldi SolidWorks. Because, you know, Aldi always has like a cheaper knockoff versions of other things. No hate on PTC. It just, like, the UI looks old school. But from what I've heard, it's very capable software, and it's definitely not the cheap version. It's also really expensive. But yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of the UI. I've also tried FreeCAD, which I would love if FreeCAD was good, but in my opinion, it's very much not good. But that's coming from a perspective of, like, I don't know how to use it, because it's very different to the programs I've used, which is a big problem. If you're trying to break into an industry where things like SolidWorks and Creo and Inventor and all these other softwares are so widespread through industry, you can't expect a program that's extremely different to be successful. My SolidWorks is 2018. I actually use 2018 at my work at the moment because we haven't upgraded. But this, I guess, is like 2013 because it's SolidWorks connected. So I'm using the subscription. It's like $10 a month, but it's only for makers. Can't use it for a business. And yeah, I don't know. Right now I'm a maker. Maybe one day this will be a business, and I don't know what I need to do at that point. So maybe I need to buy SolidWorks then, but I don't know if they'll let me like convert all these files. I might have to remodel everything. We'll see. But I definitely don't make any money from YouTube, so this is not a business. Have you tried any other software? Okay, so I can't remember if I chose which one of these connectors I wanted to use. Not sure. So I need to change some things in my skeleton model to fix up this PCB and make it a rectangle again. I did learn Pro Engineer, but now it's Creo. Okay. I didn't realize it had a different name before. And AutoCAD. Yeah, actually, yeah. So I used AutoCAD as well in previous jobs. But just like 2D. I mean, I don't know. People say AutoCAD is 3D, and to be honest, I've never even looked into it. But the AutoCAD that I've used was like all 2D, so I don't know. And a little time, Solid Edge. Okay. Yeah, so I use Solid Edge just for viewing files sometimes after exports, but yeah. Also used Blender a little bit too, but that's pretty different. Like it's not for engineering. It's NURBS based instead of parametric, but it is nice for rendering things. I used to use Keyshot for rendering, but I think Blender, if you know how to use it, is probably more powerful than Keyshot, and it's free. So I'm like, yeah, it's about time I make the switch. Oh, I also need to get rid of those standoffs. Okay. PCB top. Yes, you can work in 3D in AutoCAD, but it's not very friendly. Yeah, I've never even seen like a 3D. Is there a 3D view, like a perspective view, or is it just like top right and front or something? For surface is interesting, I think. What, AutoCAD is interesting for surface? Like surfacing? People say like SolidWorks isn't good for surfacing. I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. I've played around a little bit in Rhino. And I don't know, Rhino to me feels like a bit of a toy. Like, I don't know. I don't like software where I can't see like a timeline. And make changes to features in the feature tree and stuff. It has similar references like SolidWorks. What, AutoCAD? Am I getting myself into a lot of trouble here? I don't know. Hope I don't delete things that I need. Enclosure top. But I like SolidWorks for my university time. Yeah, I mean, I always say like, look, I think SolidWorks is great. I think it's served me very well. I'm quite happy using SolidWorks, and I've spent so much time in it that like, I'm sort of invested. Like I'm at the point now where I feel like I know all the quirks of SolidWorks and what I can and can't do. And I shouldn't have got rid of that line. Yeah, and I'm comfortable. I feel like I'm kind of somewhat of a power user now. Maybe that's too arrogant to say, but yeah, I do feel like changing now would be a lot of work. But at the same time, I'm open to it, because like the same thing with Keyshot. Keyshot, I was quite used to it. I knew the ins and outs of it. Quite happy with the results. But it's hard to ignore Blender. And I felt like it was worth the learning to change. So yeah, if something else comes up that makes me think like, okay, this is a clear upgrade to SolidWorks, or if it's much cheaper or something, I would definitely be open to trying something else. Like, it is a shame that there's nothing like Blender in the CAD world. And I mean, there's FreeCAD, but for a while, or for a long time, Blender was like FreeCAD. Like, it was borderline unusable. Just UI things. Like, you would open up Blender, and to select something, you have to right click on it, which is like totally the opposite from what every other program does. So immediately you're thrown off. You're like, okay, this feels clunky. It's just like, it adds friction in the very beginning of learning, which is not a good idea from a UX standpoint. But then Blender, I think it was in like version 2.7 or 2.8 or something. They did like a whole UI overhaul, and they changed a lot of things, and they really made a move towards usability. And they finally got rid of this thing where, like, by default you right click to select. By default it was left click to select now. And if you wanted the old settings because you used it before, you could switch. But for new people who've just installed it, it's going to be left click select, as you would expect, which I think was a genius move, and it obviously paid off for them, because now Blender is way, way more popular, and actual professionals are using it in industry. Like, people are making feature films with Blender. And I think that was all that it took, is like, okay, let's actually think about this from the user point of view and from people coming from other software. And they fixed it, and now it's great. Blender is freer and for more creative work. Yeah, Blender, I'm not saying Blender is a replacement for SolidWorks. Like, it's good for 3D rendering and animation, that kind of stuff, but it's not good for designing parts and engineering related stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna close this sketch and let's see how much stuff is broken. We're gonna have to fix it. But yeah, I'm making a parallel that, like, right now, that's Blender. I mean, right now that is FreeCAD. When you open up FreeCAD, let me check if I have it on here actually. FreeCAD. No, I don't have it installed. I'll do it another time. But when you open up FreeCAD, you go to rotate your view like this. In SolidWorks, you hold down the middle mouse and you can scroll around. It's quite easy to look around. And in FreeCAD, you do it, and just the way that it rotates, like the way that the camera orbits, is totally different to any other CAD software. Like, it doesn't orbit the same way. I don't know how to describe it. And some people say, oh yeah, you just right click and then there's like different orbit modes or whatever. Like, you can make it so it's right click to orbit view, or like middle mouse, whatever. That's not the point. It's not about what button you need to press to do it. It's about the actual geometry and how it rotates. It feels way different, and it's really inconvenient. Like SolidWorks, Keyshot, Blender, Creo, they all rotate in the same way with the mouse moving the camera. And FreeCAD does it in a totally different way, and it just immediately adds friction to using the program, and you're just like, no, this is bad. I can't use this. So, I don't know. I hope that that it gets better, because I would love to have a good free alternative. Especially for people watching on YouTube and stuff, because yeah, it's hard for people to get into using a software like this that's so expensive, unless you're at university or something. So yeah, would love it if FreeCAD would be good. But right now, in my opinion, it's not. Sorry to the guys at FreeCAD. I have high hopes for them. And I'll be the first one to download it and start using it. But right now, it's not happening. I mean, I have downloaded it multiple times and tried to get into it, but it's just like, I don't have time to learn something that's so drastically different when it doesn't have a significant advantage, because it also has other problems. Like, I think they've solved it now, but it had this problem where I don't know how to describe it. It was like it would name faces in a weird way. Shit, what did I just do? Why has that got so many references? PCB, right. Yeah, it would name faces in the wrong way. So like, if you moved dimensions of something in a way that accidentally creates a new face, it would reshuffle the names behind the scenes of what the faces are called, and it would change the geometry as like a side effect. Just yeah, it's just a glitch that messed things up. And yeah, I don't know, apparently they've fixed it now. If I get rid of this, it's actually going to get rid of that sketch. Yeah, okay. That's alright. Less sketches is better. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to lose any sketches if I delete these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. Am I ranting too much about CAD? Elk, what's going on with you? Are you still hiding away in there? Got the stream on in the background while you do something more interesting? Oh, everything's broken. Shit. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong. Yes. These holes aren't needed anymore. I am low. What's happening with you? What are you up to? Can I ask, I don't know if I've asked you this before, are you a fan of Ben Jordan? That error sound. Hi, Arian? I don't want to say like the wrong word, but hi, welcome. Yes, that error sound is, that's what I hear in my sleep, in my nightmares. Ding dong. It haunts me. I watch him from time to time. I don't watch a lot of synth tubers, to be honest. Neither do I. I would say, I mean, I don't know. I don't know much of his older content, but I've just been watching him recently, and I'm finding his videos quite good. But they seem more like, video, um, video essays. I don't know, and he did a really cool video about physical modeling the other day, like about VSTs, and the focus on like not using samples, like people actually programming plugins to behave like real instruments and to like synthesize real instruments without using any samples, which I thought was pretty interesting. I do like the idea that one day we can just have programs that synthesize instruments without having to have like huge hard drives full of sample libraries all recorded at different velocities and stuff, you know. Ding dong. I dig Venus Theory a lot, and right now I'm pretty entertained by the Weaver Beats and Busyworks Beats feud that's going on. I have no idea about any of those people or the feuds that's happening between them. Yeah, I have all of Expressive E's physical modeling synths, and they're amazing. Yeah, he talked about Expressive E in the video as well. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I like where it's going. That's okay. I don't know about them until a month ago. So who are we talking about? Busy Work and Weaver Beats. Oh, Busy Work Beats. I did watch the video you're discussing. Oh, that's cool. What does the live drum machine do? So it's basically a drum machine, like a drum machine slash sampler, something akin to like an Electron Octatrack, or I mean, you'll probably correct me on this because it's technically not a drum machine. And I've spelled it wrong. But basically it'll make like drum beats, but without using a sequencer like this. So it's going to be something that hopefully feels a lot more natural to play drum beats on, rather than kind of programming them. So for somebody who doesn't have a drum kit, but they want to play some music in a jam, or if you want to record some drums or something like that, you'll be able to use this device to make drum beats that will hopefully sound pretty natural, like a real drummer. Okay, I think I've just about updated everything. Wish I knew the shortcut to collapse everything. There we go. Speaking of feuds, Elk, do you know about Linus Tech Tips and Gamers Nexus? Because they're having a feud at the moment. Well, kind of. Which I thought was pretty interesting. Okay, so now I have sort of brought everything back to how it was after a lot of effort that went into it. I've undone all of that effort, brought it back to an earlier state. No, but my buddy released a video on it that I need to watch. Oh, cool. Who's your buddy? It was so it's basically like Linus Tech Tips is this company that do a lot of videos about computers, and so is Gamers Nexus. They're kind of a similar sort of vibe. They like review gear, like computer parts and stuff, and they both test things and show test results and give recommendations, those kinds of things. But Linus Tech Tips, Gamers Nexus made a video about them saying like that he has a lot of problems with how they've been operating lately because, for one, they've made a lot of mistakes with their testing, and they have a really big audience, so they've kind of been influencing what people buy based on false information that they presented by not doing the testing correctly. Also, he talked about them being potentially biased with their testing and reviews because they're doing collaborations with companies like Noctua, where they're like selling a Noctua colored screwdriver, but then also like reviewing Noctua coolers and comparing them to other brands and stuff, which is a bit of a conflict of interest. But also, like, I'm generally a fan of Linus Tech Tips, but they also did this video recently about a startup that make like a water cooling block, and they kind of messed up the video because they used it with the wrong graphics card, and in the end they were like, yeah, we don't really have the time to like fix this. Basically, don't worry about it anyway because this product is kind of a waste of money. Like, it's ridiculously expensive and not needed by the average person. So they didn't bother to like make it factual, like to do a good job of testing it and really see how good the product was. They basically said, yeah, we fucked it up, but we can't be bothered fixing it, and this product's not really worth buying anyway, so don't worry about it. It's like kind of just a shitty thing to do because it's like, that's just mean, you know, like it's a startup trying to make some cool product. They don't need some hugely popular YouTube channel like shitting on them. That's interesting. I didn't know this. I've been watching LTT for a while. Yeah, so LTT actually put out a huge apology video today. Like, they even got their new CEO to open the video, and he was never meant to be on any of the videos, and they had to make a huge apology, and they're taking a week off making videos, which is a big deal because they have like 6 channels that post every day. So yeah, it's big. I don't know. In general, I'm a fan of LTT, but I do think they kind of messed up here, and it's probably good that they like make good on this problem, because I think what they did to this company that made a water block was sort of shitty. Okay, so back to the project. I just noticed that we got up to 7 viewers and then went back to 4 because I'm talking shit about computer people. So let's get back on track for a second, but keep the comments coming if you want to ask about that. So I've gotten rid of the Raspberry Pi, and we need to replace it with the Jetson Nano, which is this guy, which, yeah, it's normally cheaper than this, but it's Amazon, so whatever. So this thing has a 280 pin SODIMM interface. SODIMM is like the name of the interface that laptops use for RAM. And yeah, so basically we just need to put a SODIMM socket on the board. And the other thing I want to put on here is an M.2 NVMe memory card, something like this, which has this M.2 interface at the end. So M.2, and this is SODIMM. So I need to find a SODIMM socket and an M.2 socket. Generally, I would buy parts from DigiKey or Mouser. Actually, let's check Mouser first because I think Mouser generally has more range. Probably I should check the German website, being in Germany. But yeah, so we need to find like SODIMM. Is this gonna actually show me SODIMM slots? No. So I want like SODIMM connector. DIMM connectors. Why in DIMM connectors can I buy RAM? Memory socket connectors, okay. $260 positions. So I basically want to see what are the most available and what are the most cheapest products. And I can see we got one here from TE and one from Amphenol. Recommended SODIMM slot for Jetson Nano. I did see that there was like a ruggedness design guide. I saw this somewhere yesterday. Here they recommend this TE. Developer kit. No, that's not what I want. Just let me double check. I had this somewhere in my history. Wait, what do we got here? M.2 is an overkill for something like this. Would like SAD card not work? I guess you mean SSD or SD card. Yeah, SD card works. The thing is, this device is going to be sample based. So would be quite possible that there'll be a lot of samples. A big library. SD cards. Yeah. I mean, maybe we could use SD cards. It's just like... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're as reliable. And like M.2 memory isn't that expensive. Like if you look for M.2, say like 64 gigabyte or something. What do we got? Amazon. Even 128 gigabytes €55. It's not that expensive. So I don't know. We could still use an SD card. It could be nice to be able to just like click it out from the side of the device. So I don't know. We had this discussion and I'm trying to remember why the guys didn't want to use an SD card. So I'll have to get back to you on that one. Okay, building ruggedized system with Jetson SODIMM system on modules. They've got some stuff here about mounting. So yeah, we need this socket, some standoffs that go underneath the board that you can screw into, potentially a pad to put in the gap. And they talk about thermals, so you should connect the SOM to the enclosure so that the outside of the enclosure is used for cooling. That's what I plan to do as well. Then they have a component selection section. So here they mention TE connectivity. They mention this LOTES, which I've never heard of, and then Amphenol. And Amphenol, they've put some notes here like different stack height configurations, blah, blah, blah. But then they also listed some testing results for Amphenol. It's been subjected to extensive mill environment testing using mill specification lot sample sizing, including the following, blah, blah, blah. I just, basically, long story short, I don't want to spend too much time on making this decision. I saw that they have testing data from Amphenol, which kind of suggests to me that that this is their preferred option, I guess. And Amphenol is slightly more expensive, but like 120 instead of 80 cents. But I am a fan of Amphenol, so I think I would prefer to use them. And the other thing is, I'm pretty sure they also have M.2 slots, M.2 sockets. Let me check. They do have memory card connectors as well. Memory socket connectors. Where can I find M.2? I just search it. PCI Express. Yeah, I think that's what I want. Looks like it anyway. Yeah, we've also got Amphenol here. They do seem a bit more expensive here as well. I don't know. Don't know how to make this decision. Need to get Jan on a call. As a mechanical engineer. I guess it's not really my place to choose. But yeah, I also have to make progress, you know? Let me send him a message. In the meantime, anybody have any opinions on the LTT drama? Okay. Is the project a hobby project or for a company? It's a hobby project. So, yeah, the guys I'm working on it with are from, or ex-colleagues from another company, but we're doing this completely in our spare time, just as a passion project. So, if you check out, I don't remember which stream it was. One of my recent streams, which one was it? Maybe 25 or 24? Sorry, 23. I actually had two of the other guys from the group on the stream, and we had a big chat about the plans and what our expectations are and what decisions we're looking at the moment. So yeah, Jesse and Jan are their names, two Dutch guys. And yeah, the whole thing is like it's Jesse's baby, I would say. Like he came up with the idea. He asked us if we wanted to help out, and I basically said, yeah, like it sounds cool. Do you mind if I live stream it? And he's like, no, that's fine. I was like, cool. Gives me more motivation to put more time into it. So yeah, just side project, I would say, separate from work. So what do you guys think? TE connectivity because they're cheaper, 50 cents, or Amphenol because they may or may not be better quality, but almost double the price. I'm just here for some emotional support. I need technical support. Let's see what kind of card connectors they have. So let's see, SD cards. Oh, excuse me. I just got back from Italy yesterday, so I'm still catching up a little bit on sleep. See, an SD card slot is more expensive than an M.2 slot. Not by much, but you know. I've been seeing you put the stream links in the SolidWorks server and haven't been able to catch it live. Oh, cool. That's where you came from. Well, nice to have you here. Thanks for checking it out. Yeah, hopefully people don't think it's too spammy that I'm posting in the Discord, but I figured eventually somebody would be interested. Just sorry that I'm not doing so much SolidWorks. Component selection. Maybe I should be doing the component selection off stream. I don't know. Let me know. Is this more boring than SolidWorks? Maybe what I can do, because I don't know about the component selection right now, is I can get the actual model for the Jetson Nano and put it in here. Let me just check if I've downloaded it already. Yes, I did. Okay, so system on module, NVIDIA Jetson Nano P3448 module. Don't know why it's called that, but that's what it is. This model is actually, it's not quite as nice looking as I would like. Like, it doesn't have all of the little resistors and stuff on there that would be nice for a 3D render. But what it is a very lightweight and accurate model that basically shows you where not to place things. So it blocks out all of the space it needs. It says, like, this is where the processor is, this is the patch that you need to cool, these are the mounting holes for a cooler, these are the mounting holes for the board, this is your SODIMM connector area. This is where you can place a bracket on the back for stiffness, which is actually a nice idea. Like, because if you're going to screw this into a heatsink or something, you might not want to accidentally flex the board by screwing it and bending it in the middle. So they actually, give you this space where you could put a metal bracket in there if you wanted. Or you could do like they show in this ruggedized systems with Jetson, you could make that bracket the entire thickness of this gap so that it could actually fill up that gap between the two PCBs. And that would mean you would get a whole lot less stress. And you could also screw all the way through into your heatsink, which I may or may not do, I don't know. They actually, on their website, let me show you. The nice thing about these NVIDIA Jetson Nanos is that they provide a lot of documentation. So if you choose here Jetson Nano, this is where you download the 3D model. So I think it's down here somewhere. 3D CAD model, step model, which is what I've downloaded. They also have some nice documentation like Jetson Nano thermal design guide. So they actually teach you, hang on, let me log in. Don't want to dox my password. Sorry, just a second. Okay, somehow I didn't save my password. God damn it. I'm not gonna bother with that now. Or I might. How did I not save the password? So annoying. I don't know, maybe this is a sign that I'm not meant to show it on a stream. Whatever. So they have basically a whole document which shows you how you can design thermal solutions that would fit this, which is really nice. But yeah, I guess it's not meant to be on this stream. But so what I'm going to do is make my own kind of SolidWorks version of this. This is just a... Oh, this was already a solid part, I guess. No, it was a step file. So I generally like to reposition things a little bit. Yes. So I'm going to reposition it, and then I'm going to add some sketches on here so I can locate it in the part and everything. Yes. So okay. This is my little trick for centering a step file around the middle. I'm going to split this surface. Okay, then I'm going to move the whole thing with mates. Going to mate the mounting surface with the top plane. And I'm going to mate the front of the sodium with the front plane. Oh, why did I do that? Because that's going to be my reference point, because that's something that's consistent with sodium, is this point. Like the card can be all different lengths, but the front of the board is always consistent. No, don't worry about posting the links on the server. I actually made the server back in 2019. Are we talking about the Discord server? The heatsink just needs to desolate some amount of watts. Yeah, I don't know exactly how much. Probably only like 10 watts or maybe 20 watts or so. Yeah. So basically I'll just connect it to the enclosure, and the enclosure should radiate the heat, or at least act as like a big thermal mass that will soak it all up. Okay, right plane. I'm gonna use this little split line that I made to center it on the right plane. Don't know why that got called -1. But yeah, now everything is positioned how I would want it to be. And I can delete this face and patch it to get rid of that split line. And then generally I like to save this out as another part. as another step file, sorry, just to clean up the what do you call it? The feature tree. So I don't see these features because it's just tidying it up. So yeah, save it as a new step file and then make a new SolidWorks model out of it. And I'll call it NVIDIA Jetson Nano. Sorry, I'm so bad at typing. Oh, that's alright. What did you mean about the server? You said no, don't worry about posting the links on the server. I actually made the server back in 2019. So you made the SolidWorks Discord server, is that what you mean? Yes. Oh, cool. Well, nice to meet you. Didn't realize I'd be meeting the creator, but that's cool. Thanks for joining. Yeah, let me know if it gets annoying or anything. Oh, you did say don't worry about it, so that's good. Or if you have any other tips for how to get people interested, let me know. I made it because I needed help with my RC car project. Oh, nice. And did it help? Actually, I'm being very OCD right now, but I don't like how the circles are split in half. What is happening here? Why is that line still like that? Weird. Do you know why that line is still there? I don't know. Yeah, how did you go with the RC car project? Is it finished? Did you get the help you needed? It's a good idea. Like the SolidWorks forums are, well, firstly, they kind of made it harder for some people to access them if you don't have an account. But also like, yeah, people respond very slowly on there. Discord is much nicer for that kind of stuff. There is also a Discord, there's also a subreddit for SolidWorks, which is pretty nice. Save as. No, I need to choose this option where you don't want to split periodic faces. Okay. cool. And I actually got rid of that line, which is nice. There we go. So now I can put it in here. And I don't know exactly where it's going to go or what orientation it'll have. But it'll be somewhere around here, I guess. Maybe not. We'll see. Could also be rotated 90 degrees. Yeah, I have to figure out what the best location is for it. We've got to keep space for the jacks, and yeah, don't know yet. Oh, sorry, I saw your message. I was struggling with gears and the design of them, and I pretty much learned the software using it. Ah, cool. As far as the stream links, I can suggest adding some image maybe, or thumbnails. Maybe that would make it more eye-catching for people to see and join the live stream. That's a good idea. Yeah, I need to be more proactive about that with my YouTube in general. Like, I probably should make a thumbnail before the stream to put on the YouTube, which you can do. I just never do it. But yeah, I need to get into a routine of that. Okay, so for locating this, I need to put a sketch in my skeleton model. Have a photo of your face with your mouth as open as your jaw allows. Yeah, the soy, what do they call it? Soy face, just like. And just make the thumbnail like this. That's what everybody does. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try to make like a little illustration, or just put like a screenshot from the last video or something. The thing is, making the thumbnail before the video, it's not going to show what I'm going to do in the video unless I do it before the stream. So yeah, I don't know. Yes, but happier and with your mouth more open. Like. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Like, if I was going to do a thumbnail before the video, could it be a screenshot of the last, like the state that the model was in the last video? Like, maybe I just use the thumbnail from the last video, and then after I finish the stream, make a new one. That could work. Sorry, I'm just checking my messages. Bam, just scream grab that epic soy face, bro. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly though, what should I do for the thumbnail? I don't know. You could maybe use the whole assembly and blue out the area you're working on. That's not a bad idea. But what if the area that I'm working on doesn't exist yet? Oh god, there's a moth on my screen. Just got to tag your stream with Behringer free intellectual property. I don't want them to catch wind of this yet, man. Like, I want to at least finish it before Behringer copies it. Behringer, sorry, I should say. But no, I think like it would need to be popular before they would think about copying it anyway. I'm gonna have to leave the stream now. Might be able to join again once I'm home from work. No worries, man. I appreciate you joining, and thanks for the advice as well. Thanks for chatting. Much appreciated. And hopefully I can make this thing a bit more exciting for new viewers. So yeah, appreciate it. If you didn't already, I would love a subscribe on YouTube. But also great work on the Discord. Very glad to have it. If anybody is watching this and wondering what the hell I'm doing, I'm just trying to simplify this sketch. I need to put these lines in here for locating, you know, locating stuff in my skeleton model. If you don't know, you will know soon. Is this centered in the directly in the middle? That would be pretty nice. It is. Cool. So then I'm gonna do this. That's nicely centered. We love to see that. God, I love it when people design things in a neat way. Like I've worked with some other SOMs in the past that were not very neat. Like just, you know, the holes would just be like, how far are these apart? The holes would be like 63.6475 millimeters apart or something. It's like, come on. Let's make it a round number. Okay, I think I've located everything. I think, yeah. Hmm. What was I going to do? Oh, I was going to rename this. God, I'm struggling today. Reference top. Ah, yes. Okay. I'm just thinking about my poor PCB sketch, which is going to get super cluttered and heavy, and I don't want it to get too heavy with too many details. So let's see. Need to insert the SOM back here. I can get rid of the Raspberry Pi. Insert part, Jetson Nano. Don't need the materials. Just want sketches. Sure. Okay. What would probably make sense when I do this is like they're always in the middle like this. Probably makes sense if I put it out of the middle somewhere, so it's out of the way. Maybe I'll just do this. I need to insert the planes. What else is going on in your world, Elk? How's the stop motion stuff going? Been any progress there? I saw a really cool stop motion film on YouTube today, actually. A very creepy one. Can I see a preview of what this is gonna look like? Alright, that's good. It's on hold while I work on my Abyssal Pantheon project. I need to do some world building, and then that's the universe my stop motion stuff will be in. Sick. Abyssal Pantheon. Is this... Are you doing something 3D or... What is Abyssal Pantheon? Sorry, I've been out of the loop for a while. Apologies if I missed something on your Instagram or YouTube or something. Cool name though. The heck is this? Okay. Let's figure this out. Normally I'd be annoyed that this horizontal relation didn't copy, but actually I think in this case it's good because I might want to rotate the sum. So if I put perpendicular relations on everything instead, and that's actually better. It's a project that I'm doing with ChatGPT to create unknown gods. The project has 4 planned concepts centered around AI, spirituality, and the hidden ones, and the nature/cosmos. Okay, but like what kind of project are we talking about? Like a story or something? I'm both intrigued and confused at the same time. How did I lose so many relations? You gotta love this part of just adding in all these relations. It's great. It's thrilling content for the viewer. I've already worked on 2 different pantheons. What do we mean by pantheon? Am I missing the meaning of that word? Because I thought pantheon is like the name of a building in Greece or something. With archetypes and deities, my plan is to create myths, musical themes for each, as well as worship music for deities. Okay. Over time, the project will move from myths and audio to stop motion project centered around them. Cool. I think I just moved my camera. Hang on. Okay, so this is like the concept behind the visuals that you want to use for like the portfolio. I thought you were going to do like some video game related type imagery. I guess it deities can also be video game. It is, but pantheon also is a blanket term for group of gods. Ah, okay. I didn't know that. In particular, theistic faith. Don't know about that one, but sounds interesting. Is that from a particular country? Or is it just a general term? Polytheistic. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. Polytheistic meaning believing in more than one god. Yeah, it just means belief in many gods. Gotcha. Yeah, I think I've heard that somewhere before. So, like, Greeks would be an example, I guess. Romans, maybe? Hindu? Hindu? I don't know how to say it. I don't know if Sheikhs are the same. I mean, Sheikhs. Sikhs. I'm a Nordic heathen, and my pantheon is the old Nordic gods. Ah, okay. Man, you would have loved Iceland so much. But yeah, all of those are polytheistic. Gotcha. Try and get rid of all the vertical and horizontal relations so I can rotate this thing. Wait. Oh, this might overload. No, it's okay. Okay. So, what you're telling me is you're going to invent a new polytheistic religion. Am I understanding correctly? For a fictional pantheon. Right now I'm in the world building stage. I have plans to create a cultus, aka ritual workshop for them. One of the current deities I'm working on it will be observed through EMF recordings. Essentially for a fictional universe. This is cool. So my first instinct is to say, like, is this all necessary to create a um portfolio for your music? But at the same time, I don't want to discourage you from doing it because it sounds really interesting, and if it's what you're interested in, um, why the fuck not do it? You know? Shit. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you just want to create visuals for to put with the audio for a portfolio to try and get work on some game or TV series or movie or something, like it's very deep, but at the same time it's like, why the hell not? It's fucking cool. Like it's also a fun project on top of making music. Um, no, but I don't have to work and I have time to kill and I love to write. Yeah, that was my second thought. So my first thought was like, okay, this is a lot of extra stuff. Is it really necessary? But my second thought was like, ah, he's got the time, and if he wants to do it, like, why the fuck not? Yep, I'm here for it. Alright, check it out. I got a rotating som. Woo! So, we'll make this horizontal for now. Delete that. Hide that. And put this somewhere up here. Here I'll do. Although I'll need space for the socket, but whatever. I'm just positioning it somewhere for now. I can move it later. Yeah, I mean, I fall victim to the same type of feature creep, you know, or like, not feature creep, but like, I start out with the intention to do one thing, and I end up going on a complete tangent. Like, I start out with the intention to stream, making some design project, and then I go on some tangent about like I want to invent my own units of measurement, and then my own number system and shit like that, which I haven't done yet, but probably will. But yeah, the same thing with like I wanted to design a guitar, and then to build the guitar I need like a CNC router to make it, right? But buying a CNC router is really expensive, and maybe I want to customize it to be like the right size for the guitar. So then you start getting into the territory of like, let's start designing and building a CNC router. And then you go down this whole rabbit hole of doing that, and you could spend like 3 years making a CNC router to be like, wait a minute, I was doing this because I wanted to design guitars. But sometimes you have just as much fun getting into the world of designing a CNC router. That like, what's the harm in doing that, you know? Like, yeah, that wasn't the original intention, but is it bad? No, I don't think so anyway. Yeah, it will be a lot of work, but it's super structured. Once I've identified the archetypes of the deities, it will allow me to assign emotional cues and develop themes. Yeah, and I think like it's cool that you're using did you say ChatGPT? Yeah, to help. So that'll make things a lot faster as well. I've already begun composition, which is a big step forward. What do you mean composition? Composition of... what are we talking about? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and position the Jetson. But I can only position it on the horizontal plane. But I'll do that anyway. So don't need this board to board folder anymore. Let's add some mates. I'm not going to mate it to the right plane or the front plane because I want to be able to rotate it. Music, working on theme for one of the deities. Oh, okay, cool. So you're actually doing the composition for the music already. That's cool. Okay, so front plane, I'm gonna make coincident with this line. And then right plane should be coincident with this. And then that should lock it in everything but horizontally, right? Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna position it on the PCB. I think I'll just put like a little just add some more reference sketches in here. Okay, I just got a message from Yesa saying that he has a preference for quality on the SODIMM connector, which I guess means Amphenol. But we don't necessarily know that Amphenol is better quality just because it's more expensive. Okay, PCB right. Let me show the right sketch. And the top sketch. Oops, no, that's not what I want. Show this. Put this here. Then I just need to choose the height. And I don't know what the height needs to be yet. Probably something like 3 millimeters, potentially. That'll do for now. So do you have an idea of how many deities are going to be in this pantheon? Okay. Top plane. Coincident with this. There we go. Now it should be fully defined. It is, and I can put it in the SOM folder. Can hide that sketch. There we go. Now I was just thinking, like, if I rotate this, that sketch on the right plane is going to change. I would have to move it to the front plane. But that's a problem for another time. So yeah, right now the questions I have is like, say again, I said, do you have any idea how many deities are going to be in total? Okay, so yeah, right now I need to figure out where would be the best place to locate this thing. And then figure out then figure out what, I don't know. Then I got to put the sockets on there, so I got to figure out what sockets are going to be used. Is it going to be Amphenol? Is it going to be TE? I don't know. But I think I'll do the component selection off stream, because maybe that's not quite as interesting to watch. And I'm going to look at my list here. Get my pen. We've got new SOM, but I didn't do the socket. So we'll cross off SOM, but not socket. M.2 socket. And we'll also need a SOM standoffs for the screws to support them or to attach them to the PCB, and same thing with the M.2. And I should also check with the guys for exactly what reason are we using M.2 over SD cards? Just to make sure that we're not making that decision for the wrong reasons. Concept Nexus has 10 so far. 2 of the concepts will be forces/laws. The other 2 will be divine beings. So the Nexus is the name of it. Dude, this sounds crazy. Like, I mean, like crazy as in good, like in depth. That's awesome. You're creating like a whole fictional universe. It's cool. Maybe you make a game about it one day. Okay. I think I need to wrap it up. I've been going 2 hours now and it's getting late. So yes, that's where we got up to today. We did a psalm. A very basic looking psalm. But yeah, and I made a new version. I undid all the hard work that I did over here to fit in the Raspberry Pi, but you know, these things happen. Yeah. Maybe I'll show this on the stream. On the thumbnail, I mean. Anyway, Nexus is the first concept of the Pantheon project. I have 4 concepts planned so far. Jesus, man, how deep does this thing go? That's cool. Interested to hear more. But right now, I think I want to go to bed. So yeah, as usual, thank you so much, Elk, for sticking around and keeping me company and telling me about the things you're working on as well. It's also something nice to keep me entertained while I'm working and yeah, keep things, I don't know, is it weird to say like, you know, you say when something's boring it's dry, like what I'm doing is a bit dry, and I wanted to say you're keeping it wet but I think that's a bit weird. Multi-year for sure. Each concept should have 2 albums. Jesus, wow, that's cool. As long as the music keeps happening, in tandem with the universe generating or being conceptualized, I think that's cool. Have a good night, Broham. See you next stream. Thanks a lot, man. You have a good day and night too. And yeah, thanks for being here. And to the other guys that joined earlier, Arian, I really don't want that to sound like Aryan. And Gonzalo, thank you so much for joining and for subscribing and chatting and keeping me entertained as well. Much appreciated. I'll keep it as wet as possible. Yeah. Nice. I yeah, love it when you're in here keeping it nice and wet for us. Don't let me dry it out. And yeah, for anyone watching this later, appreciate your patience. Yeah, it's fine if you watch this on 2 times speed and won't be offended. Hopefully it was moist enough for you, and appreciate you clicking on the video and just for being interested in general. It means a lot. Yeah, as I said at the start, like, this is number 27. I'm normally never this consistent with a single project, so I'm happy with how it's going, and hopefully I can stay motivated and keep it going as well. And every time somebody likes a video and somebody subscribes or leaves a comment and stuff, it's a little spur of persuasion or encouragement for me. So keep it coming, because it does help. It also helps with the algorithm and stuff. So yeah, if you like the video, leave a like. I think subs are at like 247 now, so we're almost a quarter of the way to 1,000. But yeah, growth is steady even though it's slow. I'm liking what's happening though, and I appreciate you guys all coming and checking it out and watching. It means the world. I'm gonna make it so dry for you. No, don't. Keep it wet. Anyway, thanks again, and see you next time. Bye.